So Vergil Ortiz is successful in stopping Michael McKinson in his quest to fight for a world title at some point. Let's talk about it a bit more here on BWTN Sports. Don't go anywhere. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTN Sports. So, Vergil Ortiz has scored a ninth round knockout over McKinson, which was, he did what he had to do. I always try and keep it real with you when I do these videos. I try and keep it as honest as possible because, ouch. I try and... Sorry about that. I try and keep it as real as possible with you when I do these videos because I think honesty is the best policy. And as you know, boxing is a sport and it's also a business, mainly a business first. So I'll keep it 100% with you. I went to bed, and the only reason why I saw this fight is because I woke up because I couldn't sleep. So got up early, 4:30 in the morning, and I thought, oh, some boxing's on. Let me go and watch it. And I think it was in the second round. I caught the fight. Didn't bother watching the fight because I knew exactly what the fight was. McKinson, I'd never heard anything about him before. And I knew that he was not going to go to America and upset Vergil Ortiz. That was not the plan. McKinson was meant to come over and get knocked over, go a few rounds and get knocked over to make Vergil Ortiz look good. And that's exactly what happened. I expected no more and no less of that because you look at it. Okay, he's unbeaten. McKinson, he was unbeaten coming in southpaw. Not easy to hit, but not a puncher. So Vergil Ortiz being the puncher and the explosive puncher that he is, and the quick hands that he has, puts punches together. The discussion would have been had before the fight was made. Okay, what's this guy about? What can he do? He's a southpaw, he's tricky, but he can't punch. So your guy walk him down and stop him. That's it. So it's a guy that's on the resume, which makes Ortiz looks good. So I've said it years ago, and I said that the role of in this situation is like a gopher. You're there to basically roll over, and that's your role. Roll over, make the other guy look good. So, and you're put in almost a no-win situation because you can't punch. The guy in there is physically bigger and stronger, and is a powerful puncher. And your punches, he's going to walk through your punches, and he's going to stop you. And you've got nothing to keep him off. And he is going to break you down, and he is going to stop you. Unless a punch from the gods comes from out of absolutely nowhere. It's not going to happen. Or the probability is low. People who are matchmaking for years, they know exactly what they're doing. So when you go over thinking, oh, I'm going to go and give my best shot. Yeah, you give your best shot. You literally are fighting for your life in those situations. So I could have told you for the start before the fight was announced what was going to happen. And I tuned in round two, said, all right, well, let's see how much punishment this guy can take before he actually gets stopped by a body shot. And sooner rather than later, we saw him get stopped with a body shot, taking a whole heap of punches. When he got dropped and he went back to his corner, it was like the trainer was like nothing had happened. Sent him back out there again to take more punishment. For what? In the fight, you were never going to win. You talk about all this strategy. Oh, yeah, do this, do that. You get your guys getting hammered. Oh, McKinson's looking better in this round. He's looking better in this round. I think himself. It's only a matter of time before Ortiz lands and he says bang, and the guy drops again. So, and then I've got people now telling me how good evening, how now that this guy, good evening, Liam, and telling me now how that this guy Vergil Ortiz is a beast. Listen, we need to kind of calm down a bit. Vergil Ortiz is a good fighter. I've seen him fight a number of occasions, and he's a good fighter. Nothing more, nothing less. You cannot use what he did against McKinson and put that in the same league as a Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You can't do it. You cannot. That's not how we equate things in boxing. Now, Vergil Ortiz, for me, he was taking punches. He was walking through punches, and he was getting caught by certain punches. Two guys get in the ring and they're fighting. It's gonna happen. You're gonna, punches are gonna be landed. You're gonna get hit. You can't get in the shower without getting wet. But Ortiz was there to be hit quite easily, and for me, you're thinking someone like Errol Spence hitting you, you're not someone like Terence Crawford hitting you. It's a totally different situation. First of all, you're not going to be walking in and throwing the punches that you're throwing on those guys that you're going to be throwing against McKinson. Okay, those guys are going to hit you back. They're going to hit you hard, and they're going to make you miss. They're going to make you miss. They're going to make you pay. Distance, speed, timing, all of these things. So against McKinson, who can't punch, you can be a bit reckless in the way you go about your business. But against those type of guys, taking the same approach, you're going to get yourself knocked out. And I've seen Ortiz fight. I couldn't remember who it was who fought, and he got rocked and wobbled. I couldn't remember who it was he got rocked and wobbled by. And from there, I thought, this guy's decent, nothing more. So I'm not a subscriber to the Vergil Ortiz. He's a beast. He's an animal. He's this and that. No, he's a good fighter. Yes. But the way they're ramping up this hype about him, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I really don't see it at all. Good fighter, yes. Can he punch? Yes. But he's not a devastating punch. He's not like a one punch knockout artist that because he hit McKinson with, and McKinson did a few rounds and he lasted a bit. This is what I'm saying. If you're rating a guy up and you think this guy's this great, I just don't think. I think he's just a good fighter. He doesn't do anything to me. I don't see nothing Vergil Ortiz does that makes you go, wow, this guy's outstanding. I don't see that. I see a guy with a set of gloves who could punch a bit and took advantage of a situation against a guy who couldn't punch, but then was still walking onto shots as well. And I'm thinking, these shots are getting hit with here. Imagine you were getting hit by Errol Spence like that. Imagine you're getting hit by Terence Crawford like that. And that's how I've got to look at it. When these guys are fighting, I'm not looking at who they're fighting against, the opposition to fight on that night. I'm looking about where this guy is going to be against the elite. That's what I'm looking at. So for me, he's not ready for that. He's not ready for that. He needs for me a fight, a guy like I would like to see him fight against a Danny Garcia. Good evening, Denise. I'd like to see him fight against a Danny Garcia. Even though Danny Garcia's moved up now, like a Sean Porter, the next step. I'd like to see him fight against a Ray Robinson, because Ray Robinson is tricky, and he can mix it up. He punches a little bit. He punches a bit himself. Can move a bit and can box a bit. I'd like to see him fight against a Ray Robinson. And then again, that because obviously they're seeing Vergil Ortiz, they're building him up. They're building it to be something. Yeah, that's their job with him. So they're not like a certain other promoter that will, as a fighter's rising for the ranks, stick him suddenly and throw him into the wolves, the pack of wolves. They'll promote him to do the right job with him. McKinson, I don't see no reason why he was fighting Ortiz. There was no, to me, I said no. There was not a mandatory there. Why did you take this fight? What was the point of this fight? Oh, I'm daring to be great. Well, it wasn't for a world title fight, was it? So why are you taking that fight against a guy who's gonna beat you up? I just didn't understand it at all. But hey, boxing fans, I have a different perspective, and I respect that. But yeah, I just who's Chris Congo when he's at home? Chris Congo's a good fighter, but again, I just ah, felt he was rushing for the KO too much. Would like him to slow down and use his jab, which would be very good. Good evening, Denise. How are you doing? Hope all is well. Easy Ingram, listening from Dubai on holiday. Ah, wow, good. I'm glad to hear you're in Dubai, enjoying your holidays. A place that I want to visit very soon. So yeah, I'm not on the Vergil Ortiz bandwagon. I'm sorry. He's a good fighter. And I just wish that we'd learn our lessons from these fights, right? That you look at what's going on here. You've got one guy here who they're looking to promote and boost up, and you've got cannon fodder. That's the word for it, cannon fodder. This fight basically said A side versus cannon fodder. That's what it is. That's all it was. Ortiz has a good resume for Vargas hooker. Yes. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, Liam. But what I'm saying is he's not a beast. I've heard people say, oh, that Vergil Ortiz is a beast. No, he's not. He's a good fighter. When you look at the way Golovkin was knocking people out, yeah, I could see why people were terrified of him. I got that. I don't get that with Vergil Ortiz. And I'm not Golovkin's biggest fan because, again, when you look at his knockout ratio against the top guys, you start to scratch your head. And that who exactly does he knock out at elite level? The question is asked. So you know, I don't. My point is that McKinson was cannon fodder. Let's keep it at it was the moving punch bag. That's been brutally honest. The moving punch bag. Because whatever he offered back was not going to hurt Ortiz. And he's literally moving. Just moving. Ortiz just has to track his man down, land your hurtful shots to the inside, get your guy out of there. Target practice. Cannon fodder. That's all it is. And against that level of opposition, Ortiz, against that level of opposition, I didn't think Ortiz looked fantastic. It was workmanlike. He got the job done. He did what he was supposed to do. He admitted he didn't listen to Manny Robles, who's a very good trainer. Didn't listen to his trainer, wanted to do his own thing. You know, but he's a work in progress. But please do not start throwing out at me that this guy is ready for, Terence Crawford, because this is where people get hurt in this sport. This is what happens. People are force-right. People are put into fights they're not ready for. Oh, yeah, he looked great against McKinson. Stick him with Terence Crawford. He's ready for Crawford. How can you, off the basis of that fight, say that you're ready for Terence Crawford? How? That's the fight people are pushing. What has he done to prepare him to fight Terence Crawford? Who's he beat to make you think he's at that level? I don't see it. That's just the way I see boxing. You know, like for me, if I see a boxing fight is announced, so is this genuinely a 50-50 fight, or is it just to sell so people tune in? This is genuinely a 50-50 fight. What's the agenda here? Who is the A side? Who's the guy that they want to win, and who's the guy that thinks he can win? The guy that the A side, the guy that they're posting and backing and saying, yeah, this is the guy they're investing in, which is what Ortiz was. And then you've got McKinson, which is he thinks he can win. He's taking a chance. You know, you got to take this fight, mate. You know, you got to take this fight. Why have I got to take this fight? Well, you know what? If you want me to continue promoting, you got to take this fight. Really? And I've heard it said to a lot of fighters, a lot of British fighters, you got to take this fight, mate. Why did I take this fight? If you're such a great promoter, if you are such a great promoter, then it should be easy for you to promote any fight for me. Why do I have to take this fight? Well, you don't sell tickets, mate. Well, isn't that your job to promote? You want me to sell tickets? Your job. You're the promoter. That's your job to do. I do the fighting. You do the promote. If you want to talk about being a promoter and being the best promoter in the world and all this stuff, you got a job to do. That's just my thoughts on how I see it. So, are you cannon fodder? So now the Usyk fight with Joshua. Here's the scenario here, the way I see it. Joshua lost the first fight. That was not the plan. The plan was for Joshua to win and to go and fight Tyson Fury in the biggest all-British heavyweight showdown. And make a lot of money. That's the plan. Didn't work out that way. So we go again. They're talking again. Joshua versus Fury. All-British showdown. So what's the agenda here? The agenda is Joshua to win and then go and fight Fury. That's the guy it's invested in. That's the ticket seller. That's the golden boy. That's the guy that it's got a lot of investment in. In fact, that's the guy that the last time he had going into a fight, they built an arena just for him for his rematch. Anthony Joshua, I'm talking about, against Alexander Usyk. Usyk's not a big ticket seller. He's not known for being a ticket seller outside of Ukraine. So, and it sells more Joshua Fury than Usyk Fury. But it is what it is. So in a situation like that, where one guy is the A side or one guy is, you'd want him to be the A side, you're pushing that situation. Then sometimes you put things in place to how we got the dodgy scorecards, dodgy refereeing, the bending of the rules, all sorts of shenanigans going on behind the scenes just to make sure that guy's got an advantage coming in. So it's a situation where whenever there's a situation where a golden boy or a person that's very well invested in is in a fight against a guy that is a good fighter but has not got the same appeal ticket wise or crowd wise, you always see for that guy that's invested in, there's certain advantages, the referee, the ring, and all the rest of it. So you see it. You see these fights over and over again. So we should learn from these fights. We should learn from these scenarios and situations. Did you see the Jordan Thompson fight interviews before he was saying he had unfinished business with Usyk in sparring and DAZN was saying he hits harder than Wilder? Yeah, I saw that interview. He got dropped by Germany last round, saved by Bell, out, gone. Well, yeah, I think he's got, as far as I'm concerned, took his eye off the ball there. I didn't see the fight, but if I were Jordan Thompson, I would focus very heavily. Maybe Usyk beat the crap out of him in sparring, and that's why he has a chip on his shoulder. That's probably what happened. And based on what happened on that German, I can only imagine what Usyk was doing in sparring. We forget what Usyk did to Dave Allen in sparring, and Dave Allen's got a pretty good chin. And people say Usyk can't punch. You saw what he did to Dave Allen. So let people there sit there saying that Usyk can't punch. Let them keep saying that. So yeah, that's it really. When we're watching boxing, they bring these names up and bring these fights up, the titles on these guys. This guy A versus B, or this person versus this person. The versus. What is it? What's really the agenda there? Who's the golden boy in that fight? Who's the guy they're fighting? They're pushing for. Oh, and by the way, let me just add this point. I want to add this point. In fact, no, I'm going to do another video on it because it's not fair. I'm going to do another video in a minute. But yeah, thank you all so much as always for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Have you seen these Usyk videos? He looks much bigger than first. Yeah, he does look bigger. He does look bigger, and he's got more meat. He'll have more meat behind his punch for this rematch. So yeah, I'll be back with another video in a few minutes talking Ryan Garcia. Very interesting what he's talking about. I'll be back soon. Thank you for watching BWTN Sports. I'll be back with another one in a moment. Take care.